My name is Annica and I'm the warranty specialist here at EXPED USA. And today we're going to talk about maintenance with tent poles. The poles support your tent structure and are a very important part of your tent. When we look at a completed pole, we want to see that it fits nice and flushly together and stays together. Things can happen when you're setting up your tent. Say the wind comes through and picks it up, and sometimes you can have a pole breakage or some other situation that can come up. And so we want to take care of these things as they come up, and today we're going to talk about a couple of those things. When we look at the different segments of a pole, we are looking for good condition and good repair. So here I have examples of a pole that has dents and damages, and then here is an example of like a burr dent and crack. So these are the types of things that we don't want to see in our tent poles to keep them in good repair. Sometimes one of the things that this can cause is a damage to the shock cord, and the shock cord, if that breaks on the inside, you're left with just pieces of pole and no way to keep them together. So putting those aside, so here is an example of a completed tent pole, and this one is in good repair. So there's no cracks and no burrs and no dents, which is great. And so one of the things that can happen to cause that is if you allow your poles to just snap together, then this is one of the main reasons why those cracks and burrs will happen. As the tent poles snap together, if they hit at the wrong location, then that is what creates like a place of impact. And so today I have a tent pole that we're going to repair with some new bungee. And so in this case, the bungee has broke, and that's okay. We can just take it apart and put it back together again. So the tools that we're gonna need is some spare bungee. The bungee that we use is 3 millimeters thick. And if you have scissors, that'll be helpful. And then a lighter just to help seal off the ends and make it so they don't fray. So if you have a completed tent pole, or you haven't disassembled your tent pole yet, then you can start with the bungee that you have. And the idea is that we want some tension on the tent pole, but not too much tension and not too loose. So starting at the end of the pole, you just want to trace out some bungee to be the same length as your original pole. So now that we have the full length of the pole that we're going to be working on, we're going to go back a slight ways, and this is really going to depend on the length of the pole. The longer the pole, you can take away a little bit more. The shorter the pole, you're going to want to give it a little bit more grace. And so in this case, this is more on the shorter side. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back to this last pole segment break and call that my point. Another trick that I'll do sometimes is I'll look at a full segment length and then reduce that. And so here we're going to go ahead and now cut this and move the completed section out of the way. And this is where the lighter comes in handy. So the part that I'm not using, as well as what I am using, I just want to melt the edges real quick, and then that's it for the lighter. So now we go on to the tent pole. So we're going to start here. This is an end. It has an end cap on it. Depending on the style of end cap for the tent pole, it's going to either screw out or pull out. So you'll have to just be sensitive and aware to the needs of the individual pole. And then we're just going to discard of the old bungee. And so to tie a piece of bungee to the end cap, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a knot, just a really basic knot. Then we're going to go ahead and put this through, and then tracing back in the way we came, we're going to go ahead and stick the other end in and then tighten it. And what this allows is that in case you need to tighten it, it has a bit of like a slip knot, and so you can adjust it as needed. So that's why we do it that way. And then we're just going to start feeding the poles on one by one. So when you're looking at your poles, you do want to pay attention if there is an area that's flared and then not flared, because the flared areas will need to go for the different connections. And the non-flared area is your end cap. All right, pull one. And it doesn't matter what end you start on, but I do find that if I lead by going into where the smaller portion is, it's easier to funnel it through. So I definitely recommend going this direction in than the other way. It's just from lessons learned. All right, and as you get to the last sections of the pole, you're going to notice that you have run out of bungee. So this is where, depending on what you have around, I just have a spare part from a tent that I use as my hook. But if you have, say, a sewing needle or safety pin, you could actually stick it right through the bungee to hold its place. I just wrap it around this, but if you have something else at home that you can work with, then that's great. And so basically just pulling the bungee as tight as you can. This is going to allow for slack to finish on the other end. So we're just going to find a place to stop. And in my case, I am twisting around, and then I'm just leaving it. And then, now there's no tension on this, and I have more than enough for what my needs are. And then now we're on the last segment, so I'm going to remove this. And then here's the other end cap. So same thing that we did on the other side. We're going to start with tying a knot, a loose knot, and then we're going to slip on the end cap. Put it back through the same, hold on and pull, and then that's it. And then you just want to get that back into place so that it is in good location. And then this is where we come back to this section here that we allowed ourselves to get some grace in the bungee. And then once you let it go, that's it. And then now you can see there is still this nice tension to it. It's not falling apart, it's not too loose or too tight, and it's plenty of give and goodness. And now this pole is ready to go for more adventures. If you have any other questions about how to do tent pole repairs, please let us know and we'd be happy to help you. Either send us an email at service@expedusa.com or give us a call at 866-326-4586. Thanks and have a great day.